The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly, punctuated by distant starlight and the humming electronics of the alien reconnaissance ship. General Jae-hyo Kim leaned forward, his metallic gray fingers tracing the holographic display that flickered with interrupted transmissions from a small blue planet called Earth. Something felt different about these signals. Unlike other emerging civilizations the Galactic Confederation had encountered, these transmissions carried an unusual complexity. They weren't just random communications, they were deliberate, intricate, and hinted at a deeper technological potential. The initial data streams suggested a species still confined to their single planetary system. Primitive radio waves, scattered satellite communications, and fragmented digital networks painted a picture of a young civilization. Most alien intelligence analysts would have dismissed them immediately. But Jae-hyuk was different. His years of military experience had taught him one crucial lesson: never underestimate an unknown species. Especially one that seemed to be developing technology at an accelerated rate. The transmission logs showed something peculiar. While humans appeared technologically limited, their communication patterns demonstrated remarkable adaptability. They discussed complex engineering concepts, shared rapid technological innovations, and seemed to solve problems with an almost chaotic creativity that defied standard computational models. Jae-hyuk zoomed into a particular data fragment. It showed a discussion about converting everyday materials into advanced technological solutions. A conversation about turning common metal alloys into precision instruments. Another about repurposing industrial waste for energy production. These weren't just random discussions, they were evidence of a deeply innovative mindset. His advanced translation algorithms worked overtime, decoding and analyzing each fragment. The language was complex, filled with metaphors and contextual nuances that challenged even the most sophisticated alien linguistic programs. Humans didn't just communicate, they told stories, used humor, and conveyed multiple layers of meaning in single sentences. The ship's central computer blinked with a warning. Unusual energy signatures detected from Earth's orbital region. Satellite networks that seemed primitive yet strategically positioned. Communication arrays that suggested a growing understanding of complex technological principles. Jae-hyuk remembered the reports from previous reconnaissance missions. Other alien intelligence teams had classified Earth as a low-priority observation target. They saw a planet with multiple conflicting national systems, seemingly chaotic social structures, and technological capabilities that appeared inconsistent and unpredictable. But inconsistency, he knew, could be a strength. Especially for a species emerging from a complex, challenging planetary environment. The transmission logs continued to scroll. Discussions about quantum computing, genetic research, artificial intelligence, concepts that seemed both advanced and primitive. It was like watching a child prodigy struggle with basic arithmetic while simultaneously solving complex mathematical theorems. A sudden burst of data caught his attention. Something about experimental weapons systems. Not traditional military hardware, but something more adaptive. Discussions about turning scientific research into potential defensive technologies. Concepts that merged biology, physics, and engineering in ways that defied conventional understanding. The ship's AI generated a preliminary report. Risk assessment, uncertain. Technological potential, significant. Behavioral predictability, extremely low. Jae-hyuk smiled. Low predictability often meant high adaptability. And in the complex chess game of galactic civilizations, adaptability was the most dangerous weapon of all. He initiated a secure communication channel back to the Galactic Confederation's Central Intelligence Bureau. Whatever was happening on that small blue planet, it warranted a much closer investigation. The transmission ended with a single annotation in his personal log: humans. Watch carefully. Outside the ship's reinforced viewing portal, stars continued their silent dance, indifferent to the potentially game-changing intelligence being processed within the alien vessel's advanced systems. The intelligence report arrived 3 standard galactic cycles after Jae-hyuk's initial reconnaissance. Jaiwo Park's analysis was unlike anything the alien research team had ever encountered. The document detailed human adaptation mechanisms that seemed to defy logical understanding. Humans didn't just solve problems, they transformed challenges into opportunities with a speed and creativity that challenged every known scientific model. Park's research focused on something the aliens found utterly bizarre: human ability to rapidly modify their technological systems. Where most species required decades of careful engineering, humans could redesign entire technological frameworks in months, sometimes even weeks. One case study captured J. Hughes' attention. During a global communication network failure, humans had not just repaired their systems but completely reimagined their technological infrastructure. They used smartphones, amateur radio networks, and improvised communication methods to maintain connectivity. The most striking example involved a small human research group that converted agricultural waste into advanced battery storage technology. What started as a local experiment quickly transformed into a global sustainable energy solution. No systematic planning, no centralized directive, just pure, chaotic innovation. Biological data showed something even more remarkable. Humans possessed an extraordinary genetic plasticity that allowed rapid physiological adaptation. Their immune systems could respond to new environmental challenges with unprecedented speed. Their neural networks seemed to rewire themselves continuously, learning and unlearning at a rate that bewildered alien scientists. Military analysis revealed another shocking dimension. Human conflict history showed they could turn ordinary objects into sophisticated survival and combat tools. A simple farming implement could become a weapon. Industrial equipment could be rapidly converted into defensive systems. Their technological versatility knew no conventional boundaries. J. Hughes noticed a pattern emerging. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Their technological evolution wasn't linear, it was exponential and unpredictable. Intercepted communications highlighted their collaborative problem-solving approach. When faced with complex challenges, humans didn't wait for institutional approval. They formed spontaneous research groups, shared knowledge instantly, and implemented solutions at remarkable speeds. The alien research team began classifying humans under a new category: adaptive emergent civilization. Traditional risk assessment models became obsolete. Humans didn't follow established technological progression patterns. A particularly fascinating report discussed how humans were developing artificial intelligence systems that could learn and modify themselves. Not through controlled, systematic programming, but through complex neural network designs that mimicked biological learning processes. Genetic research showed humans were beginning to understand and potentially modify their own evolutionary mechanisms. They were moving beyond passive adaptation, actively exploring ways to enhance their biological capabilities. Their communication technologies defied conventional understanding. What appeared as simple digital networks were actually complex, self-organizing systems that could rapidly reconfigure during disruptions. No centralized control, yet extraordinarily resilient. Jaiwo Park's final recommendation was both a warning and a recommendation: the human species cannot be understood through traditional observational frameworks. They represent a fundamentally different approach to technological and biological evolution. J. Hughes understood the implication. Humans weren't just developing technology, they were redefining the very concept of technological progression. The Galactic Confederation's standard response protocols suddenly seemed inadequate. How do you prepare for a species that transforms challenges into opportunities with such relentless creativity? As the alien research team continued analyzing the data, one thing became increasingly clear: humans were not just another emerging civilization. They were something entirely unprecedented in galactic records. The stars outside seemed to shimmer with an unexplained anticipation, as if they too were waiting to see what this strange, unpredictable species would do next. Dong-Hee Lee's reconnaissance mission returned with evidence that sent shockwaves through the Galactic Confederation's intelligence networks. The holographic projections displayed scenes that challenged everything they knew about technological development. Humans had begun developing weapons systems that defied traditional understanding. These weren't just advanced technological instruments, they were adaptive, intelligent systems that could modify themselves in real time. Military research showed capabilities that seemed almost organic in their complexity. One particularly disturbing discovery involved human experimental technologies. They were developing weapons that could transform ordinary materials into precision instruments of destruction. A metal pipe could become a sophisticated targeting system. Industrial waste could be converted into advanced energy-based weaponry. The most alarming aspect was their approach to conflict resolution. Humans didn't just prepare for war, they developed technologies that could potentially prevent or minimize destructive confrontations. Their military research focused on systems that could neutralize threats with minimal casualties. Intercepted communications revealed a complex network of scientific collaboration. Research teams from different parts of the planet shared information at unprecedented speeds. What one group discovered could be integrated and improved by another within hours, not decades. Dong He's report highlighted a critical observation: human technological progression wasn't linear. It was exponential and unpredictable. Traditional alien military strategists found this approach impossible to comprehend. How do you predict a species that reinvents its technological capabilities faster than you can analyze them? Satellite surveillance showed something equally fascinating. Humans were developing advanced satellite networks that could serve multiple purposes simultaneously. Communication, research, environmental monitoring, and potential defensive capabilities were integrated into single, flexible systems. The genetic research was particularly concerning. Humans were exploring ways to enhance their own biological capabilities. Not through simple genetic modifications, but through complex neural and physiological adaptations that could potentially transform human physical limitations. One classified document caught Jae Hyuk's attention. It described a human research project that could potentially convert environmental radiation into usable energy. What started as a small experimental program could revolutionize entire planetary energy systems. Communication intercepts revealed another layer of complexity. Human scientists discussed technological concepts that merged multiple disciplines. Biology intersected with physics. Engineering collaborated with environmental sciences. Their approach to problem-solving knew no traditional boundaries. The most disturbing revelation came from their medical research. Humans were developing treatment protocols that could potentially reverse complex genetic disorders. Their understanding of biological systems suggested capabilities far beyond their apparent technological level. Dong He's final recommendation was stark: the human species represents an unprecedented technological anomaly. Traditional observation and containment protocols are inadequate. Jae Hyuk understood the implications. Humans weren't just developing technology, they were redefining the entire concept of technological progression. Their ability to transform challenges into opportunities was unlike anything the Galactic Confederation had encountered. Military strategists began reassessing their approach. How do you prepare defensive strategies against a species that could potentially turn your own technological systems against you? Humans seemed to possess an almost intuitive understanding of systemic vulnerabilities. The reconnaissance data suggested something profound. Humans weren't just developing weapons, they were developing adaptive systems that could potentially neutralize conflict before it began. Their technological approach was more about prevention than destruction. As the alien research team analyzed the data, a sense of both excitement and apprehension filled the reconnaissance ship. The stars outside seemed to pulse with an unexplained energy, as if anticipating the potential of this remarkable species. Humans had transitioned from being a curiosity to becoming a potential game-changer in galactic technological understanding. General Jae-Hyo Kim discovered the most terrifying aspect of human potential during a classified review of planetary environmental data. Earth wasn't just another planetary system, it was classified as a true Deathworld with conditions that defied standard galactic ecological models. The environmental records painted a horrifying picture. The planet possessed extreme temperature variations ranging from -50 to +50 degrees. Atmospheric conditions changed rapidly. Geological systems were unpredictable, with massive tectonic movements, volcanic activities, and intense weather patterns. Most species would have gone extinct under such challenging conditions. But humans didn't just survive, they thrived. Each environmental challenge became an opportunity for adaptation and technological innovation. Planetary analysis showed humans evolved in an environment that constantly tested their survival capabilities. Extreme cold regions produced humans with remarkable metabolic adaptations. Harsh desert landscapes generated technological solutions for water conservation. Dense jungle environments developed complex survival strategies. The biological data was even more shocking. Human immune systems could adapt to multiple environmental pathogens within generations. Their genetic structure allowed rapid physiological modifications that most alien species would require millennia to achieve. Researchers discovered humans could survive in environments that would kill most known galactic species within minutes. Extreme pressure, radiation exposure, temperature fluctuations. Humans developed technological and biological countermeasures that seemed almost impossible. One particular research document caught J. Hughes' attention. It detailed how humans transformed seemingly hostile environments into habitable spaces. They didn't just adapt to environments, they actively modified them to suit their survival needs. The geological record showed another fascinating aspect. Humans developed technological solutions by studying their planet's complex ecological systems. Earthquake-resistant structures, hurricane-proof buildings, flood management technologies. Each environmental challenge became a technological innovation opportunity. Biological adaptation went beyond physical capabilities. Human neural networks showed an extraordinary ability to process complex environmental information. Their brains' plasticity allowed them to learn and modify behavior patterns rapidly, a critical survival mechanism developed through generations of environmental challenges. Technological progress became a direct result of survival pressures. Limited resources forced humans to develop efficient recycling systems. Unpredictable weather patterns generated advanced meteorological prediction technologies. Scarce water resources led to revolutionary conservation techniques. The most disturbing revelation was their potential for conflict adaptation. Centuries of surviving harsh environmental and social conditions had generated a species with extraordinary resilience and innovative problem-solving capabilities. Military analysis suggested humans could potentially convert almost any resource into a survival or defensive mechanism. An industrial waste product could become an energy source. A communication device could transform into a complex monitoring system. Their technological versatility knew no conventional boundaries. Genetic research showed humans were beginning to understand and potentially control their own evolutionary mechanisms. They weren't just passively adapting, they were actively exploring ways to enhance their biological capabilities. J. Hughes realized something profound: humans weren't just another emerging civilization. They were a species forged by an environment that demanded constant innovation, adaptation, and survival. The Galactic Confederation's standard protocols suddenly seemed inadequate. How do you prepare for a species that transforms environmental challenges into technological opportunities with such relentless creativity? As the alien research team continued analyzing the data, a sense of both fascination and apprehension filled the reconnaissance ship. The stars outside seemed to pulse with an unexplained energy, as if anticipating the potential of this remarkable species. Humans had transitioned from being a curiosity to becoming a potential paradigm shift in understanding technological and biological evolution. The Deathworld had not just created a species, it had engineered a potential galactic game-changer. The Galactic Confederation's Supreme Council chamber fell silent as General Jae-Hyo Kim presented his final report on humanity. Holographic displays flickered with complex data streams, revealing a species that defied every known classification. Representatives from 17 different star systems listened with growing unease. The human potential was no longer a theoretical discussion, it was an imminent galactic challenge. J. Hughes' presentation revealed multiple scenarios. Humans could be a potential ally or an unprecedented threat. Their technological progression suggested they could either become galactic partners or unintentional destroyers of established interstellar balance. The most critical revelation was humanity's adaptive capabilities. Unlike other emerging civilizations, humans didn't follow predictable technological progression. They could transform challenges into opportunities with remarkable speed and creativity. Diplomatic options became the primary discussion point. Traditional first contact protocols seemed obsolete. Humans had already developed complex communication technologies, advanced scientific understanding, and intricate global networks. Military strategists presented conflicting recommendations. Some suggested immediate containment protocols. Others argued for careful diplomatic engagement. The unpredictability of human potential made standard approaches impossible. Genetic research suggested humans were on the verge of controlling their own evolutionary mechanisms. They weren't just developing technologies, they were potentially redesigning their own biological capabilities. Communication intercepts showed a species with extraordinary collaborative potential. Global research networks, instant knowledge sharing, and rapid technological innovation challenged every established galactic understanding of civilization development. The Council members reviewed multiple scenarios. Potential human expansion could disrupt existing galactic power structures. Their technological adaptability could render current defensive systems completely ineffective. JHUK's final recommendation was both a warning and a strategic proposal. Humans needed careful observation, not confrontation. Their potential for both destruction and cooperation was unprecedented in galactic records. One senior council member summarized the situation bluntly: "We are facing a species that could either become our most valuable ally or our most dangerous potential threat." The debate continued for hours. Complex holographic models showed potential human technological progression. Each projection suggested multiple unpredictable outcomes. Traditional risk assessment models became useless when analyzing human potential. Genetic data revealed something even more shocking. Humans weren't just adapting to their environment, they were actively exploring ways to control and modify their own evolutionary trajectory. Their scientific curiosity knew no conventional boundaries. The communication networks intercepted showed a species constantly challenging its own limitations. Scientific research, technological innovation, and collaborative problem-solving happened at speeds that defied standard computational models. As the Council deliberated, one fundamental question emerged: how do you engage with a species that doesn't follow any established civilizational development pattern? JHUK's final recommendation was carefully crafted. Establish minimal diplomatic contact. Create observation protocols that allowed careful monitoring without direct interference. Prepare potential defensive mechanisms while remaining open to collaborative opportunities. The Supreme Council's decision came after extensive deliberation. Humans would be classified as a potential emerging civilization, a new category that acknowledged their unprecedented potential. Orbital surveillance systems would be enhanced. Communication monitoring would continue. But direct interference was strictly prohibited. The humans would be allowed to develop without external manipulation. As the meeting concluded, a holographic display showed the blue planet Earth spinning silently in its cosmic dance. A small, seemingly insignificant world that carried potential beyond any known galactic understanding. The stars outside the council chamber seemed to pulse with an unexplained anticipation. Something fundamental was changing in the galactic landscape. Humanity had arrived. And nothing would remain the same.